Recently, we talked about blinders. And now that we've acknowledged the blinders do exist, we can deal with them, right? To do otherwise might qualify as insanity. Wouldn't it, friend? There's much to be made of this word insanity, from the colloquial definition of repeatedly doing the same thing and expecting a different result, to more clinical definitions that point to the more politically correct or likely accurate term of mental illness. In preparation for this discussion, I looked up the word insanity online to see what some of the more reputable medical sites might have to say. And when you look at the list of symptoms from popular web based medical information services, you get quite an exhaustive list. It's kind of surprising, actually. It seems like anytime you or I have a bad day, we could experiencing symptoms of mental illness or insanity. It's pretty subjective much of the time. But I'd pause here and say, if you are thinking you might be suffering from something more than just a bad day, please reach out to someone you know and you trust, or reach out to a mental health crisis line in your community. Their resources are there, friend, if you look for them. So we're back to looking at things after briefly touching the insanity. I suppose once you've seen the blinders, you could choose to continue wearing them and limiting your perspective. It brings to mind that character in the Matrix movie that wants to go back in. He betrays our small crew of heroes and Neo with the promise of the illusion of having it all back in the construct. Sure, we could be like Cypher and desire to return to that state of blissful ignorance. And there's something nostalgic about wanting to return to the innocence of childhood. Something very appealing about being able to walk away from the responsibility and accountability on account of a lack of information and experience. The Matrix as a movie just oozes symbolism and allegorical morality, and the journey of Cypher within that mix serves us as a cautionary tale. But can we judge Cypher as insane? I'm not sure. And we could certainly judge his actions as immoral, and perhaps he's a psychopathic character. But given the way the construct works in the movie, and most of the characters would be diagnosable, especially our protagonist, labeled the One. But what we're truly here to discuss is our own vision and the capability and capacity for you or I to serve as an oracle for our own existence. Can we remove the blinders completely and sit comfortably with what we see? Are we peeking around them and looking out into the wild world only to catch glimpses at a time? Maybe you or I are simply poking holes in our blinders and looking through to see different points of focus. Or perhaps we've punched a hole in our blinders that's big enough that our entire field of view is mostly intact. That's progress worthy of praise, friend. But what does the rest of the world see when they look at us that way? The holes in our blinders are very likely to look like a mask to them. We haven't yet removed them entirely, just made it so we could see through the material blocking our sight. Do you have someone in your life that you're willing to look at without blinders? What about yourself and your reflection? Do you see the whole person, or is your vision still impaired? What about that person do you see? Is that person still wearing a mask? You've got my take. What say you?